Hello, everybody, and welcome to this episode of Small Business Success Talk. I'm your host, Christy Smallwood, and welcome to Women in Business History Month. It is the month of March as we're recording these episodes, and this is a special episode of Christy's Corner where I am going to spotlight a woman from history that has made her way in business and made a huge impact on the world. And some may not know these people. Some may be very popular. Some are hidden in history. But with that, I'm very excited. As usual, I don't know why that is my go-to word. You guys, it's probably going to be one of those things if you ever see me in public. Are you very excited, Christy? I'm like, yes, I am very excited. We should have that kind of energy in all the things that we do, and especially if we enjoy it, we should be excited about it, right? Why not? I do want to give a shout out to my local chamber, as always, because this is my thing that I do. I'm on the board, and it is a great way to make connections in business. So, as a small business podcast, as a show, I encourage you to get involved in your area chamber. Find those groups that can be your business support system. My chamber happens to be my business support system for the largest part of my life. We are each other's therapists and social life and all of the things, as well as doing business together and collaboratively and having a great impact on the community. So it's really fun to be part of a group that have like-minded people who are also growing and fostering great connections and cultivating an amazing culture. That's what we do around here. And as part of that, for my show, my piece of it is that I do bring that excitement and the energy and strategy mostly to everything that I do. And what I'm finding and doing some research on some of these ladies that I want to spotlight and talking to the ladies that I'm interviewing is, man, they're just brilliant. And we never stop long enough to go, damn, she's smart. Like she's just, because where to even start? As women business owners, we are still women first. That's how you recognize us. It's by, what we look like. And that's the first thing that comes across. It's not our brains. It's not our words. It's not our experience. It's, what we look like, because we're all visual creatures. It's just human nature. It's habit. And we're recognized as women. Well, part of that is that you want to tell us how pretty we are, which great. Thanks. Fine. But damn, these women are intelligent, smart, savvy, and really masterful at what they do and what they've accomplished. And we need to stop and take the time to celebrate that stuff and be recognized for those things. So it's part of what I want to accomplish with these Christy Corner episodes is to be able to take one or two of those ladies from the past and spotlight, and let's celebrate that now. Let's figure out, like, how can we celebrate these women who've had such a big impact on the world? So I'm going to get a little biblical for just a hot minute. Because part of my researching out here is, and I went to Google, of course, I asked Google. I have not asked Chat GPT yet because, I don't need the long conversation. I just needed a quick search. What were some, historical female entrepreneurs? And there is one entrepreneur who has been labeled as like the first female entrepreneur in 1700s. And I was like, that's not true. Like there's a lot of time before the 1700s that I'm positive there were plenty of female entrepreneurs. And I'm thinking, one comes to mind is the one that gets talked about or described by Solomon in the book of Proverbs, chapter 31. Proverbs 31, Solomon describes a noble woman, a wife of noble character is how the title at the top is. But take the title of that piece of it, verses 10 through the rest of it, 31. Here we go. 10 through 31 describes this noble woman and how she does all this amazing stuff. And I'm thinking, oh my God, I can't measure up to this particular woman. However, there's a piece in here that gets a little overlooked. Like we look at all of the things that she does as a mom and as a wife, but what she doesn't get as a woman nowadays, we forget to celebrate. This is also in the Bible, Old Testament. and she is celebrated as this is being part of her character. So, verse 16, it says, she considers a field and buys it. Out of her earnings, she plants a vineyard. She sets about her work vigorously a lot. She sets about her work vigorously. I'm still not saying it right. Her arms are strong for her tasks. She sees that her trading is profitable and her lamp does not go out at night. Okay, y'all, she has her own business. She is making her own goods. She is doing all of this stuff. She has servants that are helping take care of things around the house. Like she is running. She it says she is like the merchant ships bringing her food from afar. She gets up while it's still night, provides food for her family, portions for her female servants. She considers a field and buys it. Like she goes and buys that thing, plants a vineyard, and she is making money from it. She doesn't ask permission to do that. She just does it because it's the smart, wise thing to do. And her husband is respected for her. It goes on to say that she's clothed with strength and dignity, and she can laugh at the days to come. Well, if you can't laugh at yourself. She speaks with wisdom, and faithful instruction is on her tongue. She watches over the affairs of her household and does not eat the bread of idleness. No shit, Sherlock. Like, we are all busy. I'm a single woman, no children, and I am still the busiest I've ever been in my life because I have multiple businesses and I'm rewriting a book and I have this show and I'm involved in different things. We as women keep ourselves busy. I think it's part of our nature. But it's all that honor her for all that her hands have done and let her works bring her praise at the city gate. Not her looks, but her works. We forget, like, that is in the Bible. It is still biblical. It's still worthy to be talked about. So let's fast forward to this lady I found by Googling that came up as the first entrepreneur female, I guess, in the United States. And it was in the 1700s. Eliza Lucas Pinckney. Now, caveat here, let me disclaimer this before I even get started on who she is. We're talking 1700s in South Carolina, in the South. So if you can't figure this out, there's plantations involved, which also means slavery. So, FYI, yes, that was involved. Now, however, let's fast forward some of this. So, Eliza herself, Eliza Lucas Pinckney, she was born in Antigua. She was the eldest daughter of, here's where it gets fun, George Lucas. Don't know if it's related or not, who happened to be the lieutenant governor of the island. And she was raised on a Caribbean plantation. So at a young age, she was skilled in botany, a life passion of hers. She cherished her education, saying that education which esteems a more valuable fortune than any could have given will make me happy through my future life. So a huge proponent for education, which plays out, okay? Under her father's request, Eliza, along with her sister Polly and her mother, were sent to South Carolina when she was only 16. And there, the Lucases owned 3 low country plantations. Now, for the sake of, if you want to go look this up, I'm reading this from nps.gov, and you can go search her name and it'll come up. So it was at their Wappoo, Wappoo plantation, located about 3 miles southwest of Charleston, that Eliza chose to take residency. She was keenly aware that rice was the only major cash crop of the region. She was determined to increase the wealth of the Low Country. 16-year-old female, okay? When she was 19, she wrote that she had planted a large fig orchard with design to dry and export them. She experimented with various schemes to make the plantations more profitable. She wrote to her friend Mary Bartlett, I am making a large plantation of oaks, which I took upon as my own property, whether my father gives me the land or not. She believed the oaks would be more valuable than they are now, which they will be when they come to build fleets. This chick, being 19 years old, already had in her that Proverbs 31. So never discount like what you're instilled with, like the direction. She had to have been given enough leeway to have a brain that works, and she put it to use. This is beautiful to me. And I'm so excited to find this person because reading the rest of this, you guys are going to be just as excited as me, I'm hoping. All right. So while Eliza spent the majority of her time on her plantations, the summer months and swampy environment brought mosquitoes to the land. So during these months, it was customary that planters of Eliza's status would socialize in Charleston, removing themselves from the unsavory conditions of the plantations. She preferred her Wapu residence. However, she could be found visiting the home of Charles and Eliza Lamb Pinckney on occasion. So now here's where the Pinckneys come into play. The Pinckneys acted as guardians and friends to Eliza while her father remained in Antigua. So, relationship piece. All right, her relationship with them was quite close. Charles Pinckney, in particular, was very skeptical of Eliza's interest in planting. He wrote, "Tell the little visionary come to town and partake of some of the amusements suitable to her time of life." Okay, I don't know if you got the meaning of that, but that means tell the little girl, just come to town and party like little girls should. To which she responded, "Pray tell him what he may now think whims and projects may turn out well by and by. Out of many, surely one may hit." And one did. Indigo. And I'm loving this chick. Like I'm so again fascinated by her. Eliza's experiments with indigo were ridiculed by her neighbors. Anybody else have that situation when you start something brand new? They had known that the tropical plant did not do well in the winter months. Years of persistence paid off. However, when in 1744, that's 1744 for those in the back, she was able to grow enough indigo to begin the process of dye production. Under the guidance of a Frenchman from Montserrat, I think that's how you say that, sent by her father, Eliza was able to send a small sample of the indigo dye to Great Britain. She saw success. However, the same year brought her devastating news. Her father wanted the family to return to Antigua. Her dear friend Eliza Lamb Pinckney died shortly afterwards. That was a rough year. Roller coaster, anybody? Having been widowed, Charles Pinckney proposed to the young Eliza. He was 45 and she was 22. Now, before y'all go off the deep end about this, I myself, when I was married, he was 44, I was 22. And what I discovered is that really, truly did not matter one iota. I think my tongue in cheek joke is guys kind of cap out at 14. So, anyway, that marriage saved her from returning to her father's home. Now, prior to their marriage, Charles fathered no children, so Eliza mothered 4 children, not because, but she ended up having 4 kids. And they go on to talk about that. Now, her family, along with her production, was growing. She was able to send a substantial export of indigo to England. England responded by issuing a bounty to Carolina planters in an effort to cut out the French from dominating the market. So, in addition to economic motives, indigo production also succeeded because it fit within the existing agriculture economy. The crop could be grown on land not suited for rice and tended by slaves, so planters and farmers already committed to plantation agriculture did not have to reconfigure their land and labor. In 1747, 138,300 pounds of dye, worth 16,803 pounds of sterling, were exported to England. I don't know what the rate of that inflation would be. The amount and value of indigo exports increased in subsequent years, peaking in 1775 with a total of, get this, we went from 138,300 to 1,122,200 pounds, valued at over 242,000 pounds sterling. England received almost all Carolina indigo exports, although by the 1760s, a small percentage was being shipped to the northern colonies. By the beginning of the American Revolution, we just made it to the American Revolution, y'all. Indigo made up 1/3 of the exports from South Carolina. A third. In less than 50 years, the market had grown substantially. However, the tension with the British and the establishment of the East India Trading Company led to the diminishing of the Carolina indigo trade. So, thanks for that. But within 50 years, this 19-year-old girl who saw some land, bought it, planted her own stuff, decided to create her own business. Within 50 years, a third of the export of that state was coming from her idea. Today, indigo is an important symbol in South Carolina. It is the state's official color and is seen on the state's flag. Eliza Lucas Pinckney had an impact on South Carolina that is lasting. In 1989, Eliza was the first woman inducted into the South Carolina Business Hall of Fame for her contributions to South Carolina's agriculture. 1989. Y'all, come the frick frack on. So there was that. But that is Eliza Lucas Pinckney. At 16 years old, saw this. It was just education being, remember, back to the beginning of this, education being a top priority for her in her life. Now, when we go back to what Google is pulling up about her, is that she also educated her slaves. So while, yes, plantation required slaves back then, she educated them. She taught them to read. Now, you guys, and that was the 1700s. That was illegal. So not only did this woman go out, find some land, and do what she knew that was the right thing to do because it could produce a profit later, she did what she knew was the right thing to do for the people that she had serving with her, and not just for her. Because you don't just educate a slave if you don't think that they're helping in some form or fashion. So she treated them like, yes, they were still slaves, not discounting that part, but she did something illegal by even educating them. So it set her apart from everybody else and the way that they handled their own affairs. Eliza stood out. And I hate that for her, it took them till 1989 to recognize that. Let us not take so damn long in recognizing amazing women entrepreneurs and the impact that they have on the world around us, because that impact is going to be lasting throughout history. Imagine what you are doing today. What impact are you having today by saying, you know what? I don't care what the fuck you think about this idea. It's a good idea. I'm going to buy that. I'm going to do that thing because I know I'm capable of doing it. And I know that the result is going to work. Like, her confidence level in what she chose to do changed the entire agricultural trade of South Carolina for years. Again, a third of the export of that was the indigo. What? Okay. Never underestimate the power of your own confidence, of your own mind, of your own ideas, and never discount the amount of education that helps you along the way. Like, for us to do continual learning, and we don't know everything, but to be able to get to that point, have the confidence, have it all matched up together, and be more like Eliza. That's just amazing to me. And it all correlates very well to a Proverbs 31 characteristics. Maybe not every single one of them, but I don't think we have to have them all. That's not a checklist. I'm just glad I see myself in that to some degree. But I just really like this project for the show this month, because I'm discovering new people and new stories, and how those women have had such a historical impact that we never even knew. because we don't get to talk about it very much. And so with that, that's the spotlight for this Christy's Corner. I hope you go do a little bit more research on Eliza and other female entrepreneurs from history. If you have one that you would like to have spotlighted on the show, please let me know who comes to mind for you, other than those that are in the news every single day today. So I'm trying to avoid those super popular ones, the ones that might be dating a football player, but there are some amazing female entrepreneurs out on the scene today, but I want to be able to pull some from history that doesn't get the credit they deserve. So with that, thank you so much for being a part of this show just by listening or watching. And I hope that you'll tune in again by hitting the subscribe button, share it with your friends, and please subscribe to our email newsletter. We're getting ready to get that all situated and making sure that we'll send out notices of shows that are happening and ways that you can get involved with Small Business Success Talk. So appreciate you. See you on the next episode.